Have you ever wondered how HR went from being the department you just went to for payroll questions to a powerhouse that actually shapes a company's future? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. We're going to look at the surprising evolution of human resources, the story of how it earned its seat at the big table.
So that's the big question, right? How did HR actually get that coveted seat in the boardroom? It definitely didn't happen overnight. This was a slow burn, a transformation that took decades. And it was all driven by these massive shifts in how the world does business. Okay, so our journey really breaks down into three key stages. First up, you had personnel management. That's the real old school approach. Then things started to shift with the rise of human resource management. And that brings us to today with what we call strategic human resource management. Think of this timeline as a roadmap for the next few minutes. So here's our game plan. We're going to start in the past with that early administrative role. Then we'll track the rise of modern HRM. After that, we'll get into the real game changer, strategic HRM. And finally, we'll see how all of these pieces fit together in a business today. All right, let's hop in the time machine and rewind to the very beginning, the era of personnel management. This was the original HR, and its focus was almost entirely on being a tactical administrator. Back then, the job was almost completely reactive. Personnel departments were all about the daily nuts and bolts. We're talking payroll, leave requests, dealing with discipline, handling union talks. It was a necessary function for sure, but everyone saw it as a cost center, not something that added real value to the business. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Practical, utilitarian, instrumental. The whole mindset was about administration and enforcing the rules that already existed, not about creating future strategies. In this world, people were, well, they were resources to be managed, not assets to be developed. But then things started to change, and I mean really change. We enter the era of human resource management, and the function starts to morph into something totally new, a people enabler. And here it is, the fundamental aha moment for the business world. Companies started to realize that their greatest asset wasn't their buildings or their machines, it was their people. Employees were finally seen as the true engine of a company's performance. So you can see the split, right? While personnel management was purely tactical and administrative, HRM was about nurturing people as valuable assets. And this wasn't just a simple name change, it was a total philosophy shift. HRM took all those old administrative jobs and gave them a brand new people-first purpose. But you know what? The evolution didn't stop there. As the business world got way more complex, more global, another layer was needed. And this is where strategic human resource management, or SHRM, enters the picture. This is HR as a true business partner. Understanding this idea is so critical, and it's definitely something we'll be diving deeper into as we explore this topic. At its heart, SHRM is all about one word, alignment. It's the whole process of making sure that everything HR does, from who they hire, to how they train, to what they pay, is directly supporting the company's biggest long-term goals. It's constantly asking, how do our people decisions help us win, not just this quarter, but 3 to 5 years from now? I absolutely love this metaphor because it makes the difference so clear. Think of your company like it's on a road trip. SHRM provides the map. It tells you the final destination, where the company wants to be in 5 years, and it charts the best route to get there. Now, HRM, that's the vehicle and the driver. It's managing all the day-to-day stuff to make sure the trip is a success, hiring the right crew, keeping the car running, and planning all the fuel stops along the way. This table really knows the key differences. You see the pattern, right? Traditional HRM is reactive, short-term. SHRM is proactive, long-term. But maybe the biggest change of all is that very last line. Accountability shifts from a cost center to an investment center. And wow, that mental shift was revolutionary. It meant that spending money on people was no longer just an expense to keep low, but a strategic investment that you expected to deliver a real return, driving the future growth of the company. So how does this all actually work inside a modern company? Well, it's all about the partnership between HRM and SHRM. This is where the theory really hits the road and becomes reality. And here is maybe the most important takeaway for anyone in business today. SHRM did not replace HRM. They coexist. You have to think of them as two sides of the same coin. One is strategic, the other is operational. And they have to work together perfectly to drive performance. Let's make this real with an example like Infosys.
Their long-term strategic goal, that's their SHRM goal, is to be a world leader in digital transformation. So what does HRM have to do right now, today? Well, their talent acquisition team has to immediately start hiring engineers with cutting-edge skills in AI and blockchain. See that? The long-term vision directly dictates the short-term action.
Or let's take UPS. Their core business strategy, their SHRM goal, is built on one word: efficiency. So how does HRM deliver on that? Every single job, and I mean every job, from the people loading the trucks to the drivers on the road, is designed and trained around that one single principle. That is perfect alignment. So let's quickly recap our whole journey here. First, we saw HR grow up from a simple administrator into a people-focused enabler. Second, SHRM came along and added that crucial strategic layer, connecting people directly to business goals. And third, and this is the key for any modern company, SHRM provides the map for the future, and HRM drives the vehicle to get there. They have to work together. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. What about your own organization? Is your HR function a true strategic partner, helping to map out the future? Or is it still stuck in the past, operating as an administrator just focused on today's transactions? The answer to that question says a whole lot about where your company is really headed.